Hey, what's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here, comedian, actor, producer, reviewer, and welcome to the Leigh Dickey TV YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and turn on notifications so you never miss another upload. Please do follow me on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Leigh T. Dickey, and visit my official website, leightdickey.com. If you would, please subscribe to both my podcasts, the Beats and Speaks podcast and Yo Nostalgia. Please do comment, like, subscribe, and share on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts as well. Please and thank you. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. That really helps us out a lot. But thanks for tuning in to the Leigh Dickey TV YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Now let's get on to today's video. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I tell you how I would have introduced it right now. Alright, so how I would have introduced Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which is an upcoming movie and a sequel to Venom starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. So basically, I reviewed the trailer, and I'll link my review in the cards and in the description. I'll also link the trailer to Venom, Let There Be Carnage as well, so you guys can watch both. But how I would have done it, how I would have introduced it, like, you have a shot of Eddie and the symbiote sort of acting as one in Eddie's apartment, because Eddie's still an investigative reporter. But, you know, there's no mention of Michelle Williams' character, Annie, who's Eddie Brock's ex, towards the end of the first film, and I suppose going into this one, because Michelle Williams is Annie, her sort of scientist doctor boyfriend returns in this sequel. Now, how I would have introduced Venom, Let There Be Carnage, there's a scene right at the beginning of the trailer where Venom and Eddie Brock, sort of like coexisting, are in Eddie's apartment and making breakfast. That's cool. I would keep that in there, but I would add like Michelle Williams. I would want like Michelle Williams' Annie character and Eddie Brock to be a couple to sort of introduce this film. Just because, I mean, they build to it throughout the entire first film, and I just think that's really cool. So I think that beginning this second film, this sequel, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, that they should be a couple. Like, there's Michelle Williams dons the symbiote in the first Venom movie as Lady Venom, and that's legit. That's hot. That's legitimately really cool, you know, in my opinion. So, like, I would have her as Lady Venom as well, living with Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, and them coexisting along with, say, like a split off of the symbiote that isn't Carnage, so to speak, because you got Woody Harrelson to fill that role. But I would have Michelle Williams and Eddie Brock, like Tom Hardy, be a couple and start out the film as a couple, right? But, you know, they didn't want to go in that direction, I suppose, with this one, having that the actor who played, you know, Michelle Williams' character's boyfriend, Annie, return for the sequel. And that's fine. It's just how I would do it, given my production and directing background. I would have them as a couple, as both Venom and Lady Venom, because why not? Like, that, to me, that would set the tone for the movie, right? Like, I'm not saying like have Michelle Williams play like a damsel in distress or anything, but have it set up that way where maybe not the first shot you see of Woody Harrelson in this trailer, or one of the first shots is his Cletus Cassidy, you know, on the lethal injection table about to be executed, and then Carnage show up. Like, it's not a bad, like, it's cool how they're going about the trailer and how they're going to introduce him in the movie. That's cool. I would just have, you know, Michelle Williams and Tom Hardy and their characters sort of cohabitating with the Venom symbiote, and kind of introduce Woody Harrelson and Cletus Cassidy in a different way, and I'll get to that in just a second. In terms of how I would handle sort of the introduction of Cletus Cassidy and Woody Harrelson in that role as Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, I'm not knocking how they introduced it in the trailer. This is just how I would do it, right? Given I have a production background and I have been a television director and do make these videos for you guys and think about this sort of stuff. So I would honestly, instead of having the trailer open up with Woody Harrelson sort of entrenched in this Cletus Cassidy role, I'd want it to sort of act as an origin story for him, rather than, well, he's already here and then let's just off to the races with the Carnage symbiote in one of the tubes meant to administer the lethal injection drugs, and then it takes hold and kaboom, we're off and running. That's an awesome way to go about it, and that's how they did go about it. But how I would do it is sort of have Woody Harrelson kind of get into Michelle Williams' head a bit, right? Have their characters kind of constantly run across each other, come into each other's paths, and then sort of have her kind of, I don't want to say have an affair, but like have a bit of a flirtation and develop a relationship sort of with Woody Harrelson, and, you know, what would lead to him becoming Carnage. Just have her and Michelle Williams and Tom Hardy and their characters have their problems throughout the movie, have them like break up slightly again, you know, and then you got 2 hours to figure it out. But then within that intermittent 2 hours, have Michelle Williams as Annie strike up a relationship with Cletus Cassidy. Like, just have him get in her head a little bit, right? Have like little sort of traits of Cletus Cassidy. Just have him be a bit, I don't want to say maniacal, but have him be a little left of center, say, just not quite all there, and have him be a little, just a bit aloof, right? And just say things that he probably shouldn't sometimes, maybe. Like, he's great and all, but there's always that little thing that you probably shouldn't say, and then just have it slip from him every now and again, right? Just to kind of keep the hairs on end, at least when it comes to, say, the Annie character or Michelle Williams. Then, you know, have Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, and Michelle Williams go through another breakup. Like, we got back together, but this clearly isn't working, we have to break up again. And then, you know, this whole, have her already developing this relationship with Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy. I just think that would play into it more of an origin story for Carnage and Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. And then eventually have Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy do something where she's like, I can't forgive you, or like, this is over, I gotta go back to, say, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and the whole Venom symbiote, you know, have her get into the Lady Venom character again, and then just have that lead into like this obsessive wanting for Michelle Williams' character, this obsessive like yearning that Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy would have for Michelle Williams' character, the Annie character, and then have that lead to him becoming the Cletus Cassidy that we all know, this psychotic serial killer that eventually like becomes Carnage. Now, don't get me wrong, like, I'd have, much like how the Venom symbiote approached Eddie, or how Eddie approached Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, and how he sort of became Venom in the first movie, I'd want that to happen for Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy, where, like, say he's at home in his apartment, and like in the mirror he sees this symbiote that kind of looks like Venom but isn't. It's the Carnage symbiote, and then just have that symbiote get into Cletus Cassidy's head, Woody Harrelson's character, and then, you know, have him really become obsessed with Annie, and then realize that Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, has her, realize that he can't have her, and he's going to do everything he can to get her back, but then just have him go on this wild sort of psychotic killing spree because he's involved with all these other people, and he runs across all these other people that he keeps comparing to Michelle Williams's Annie character, and just have it sort of snowball from there. And then, you know, this big, massive, I don't know how the movie's gonna go, because obviously it hasn't been released yet, and by the time this episode comes out, it will still, like, you'll have plenty of time to watch the trailer, watch my review of the trailer, and watch this. But, you know, just have him sort of at the end of the movie, Woody Harrelson as Carnage and Tom Hardy as Venom, with kind of Michelle Williams in the middle, like the Annie character just kind of in the middle, and have them fighting for, you know, the things that Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy has done, for the breakups that, you know, Michelle Williams has gone through with both characters, and sort of like the honor of having the Annie character with either of them, and then just have it turn into like this crazy symbiote soaked Woody Harrelson, Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams as Lady Venom type brawl, right? And then maybe towards the end, or maybe at the end, once, say, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock defeats Cletus Cassidy, I would have sort of Michelle Williams next to, like, knelt next to Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy, and just kind of shed a tear, and, you know, just kind of say something along the lines of, there was a great man in there, but he was just consumed with something. Just have him be like sort of this, I mean, I guess I could put it like a bad guy with, there's a good guy in that man, he just doesn't let people see it all that much, and he let sort of Michelle Williams's Annie see it, and she was just hoping, like, he was a good man, but he just let very few people see that side of him, and it's unfortunate. But have her shed a tear, and then, you know, have Michelle Williams and Tom Hardy embrace, and then just kind of walk off into the sunset with Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy just kind of lying there, and the Carnage symbiote basically sort of ride off into the sewer, or be no more, or like they would get rid of it somehow. But that's how I would handle, like, introducing Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy character. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I've been Leigh Dickey, and we will see you next time. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Leigh Dickey TV on YouTube. Please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share as well. Please do subscribe to both my podcasts, the Beats and Speaks podcast and Yo Nostalgia, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast app and player of choice. Leave us a 5-star rating and review as well. Follow the fun on social media at Leigh T Dickey. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And find out more information about me on my official website, leightdickey.com. All the links are in the description and show notes down below. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Leigh Dickey, comedian, actor, producer, reviewer, and we will see you next time. Peace!